Hi guys, welcome to Behind the Set List. Today I'm joined with MUDRAT. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. Glad to be here in Newcastle.
Yeah.
First time in the UK and Europe in general. So yeah, it's been amazing.
How's the tour been so far? Because I think this is the third show.
Yeah.
So have there been any highlights for you so far?
Every night's been a highlight.
Yeah.
We fully expected to come here and nobody know who we are. That was going to be fine, and it just hasn't been the case. Leeds was incredible. The crowd was chanting for us before we went up on a support tour, which is bizarre.
Love to see it.
And Glasgow was amazing. We got an encore shout, which we couldn't do, and then we got booed after. Because it's just there's a lot of amazing acts in the lineup, and it's a pretty swift show. A lot of quick changeovers and stuff. But no, it's been absolutely incredible. Been a dream.
Yeah, I'm glad. So last year you released your new album, or your debut album, Social Cohesion. How does it feel to play songs from that live now?
Yeah, it's really interesting because we played the songs way before the album was out, and playing them so many times definitely influenced sort of like the final product that we ended up with. So it's cool to sort of see them take life prior to the album, and then sort of little adjustments and stuff after, and then definitely. It's one thing when you're playing songs that no one's heard before, but as it becomes more and more familiar, it definitely just becomes a whole new experience. So it's been great.
Yeah, so when you played them before the album came out, did the reactions from the crowd kind of like steer if you were actually going to put them on the album or not?
Yeah, I think so much of what we do is like use music as a catalyst to try and kind of, make the sort of emotional connections that are necessary for the actual political message to get across. So, a lot of the time it was playing the song and then thinking about it after, and then like having an idea in rehearsal based off what we saw. And so many of the songs changed so much. Poor People was probably one of the ones that had the most, growth or from the original demo, and the whole like Killer the Billionaire thing at the end, like that came maybe 6 months after the song was originally written. So definitely all influenced by the audience engagement. That's the most important part about what we do is play live. So we wanted to capture that in the album as much as possible.
I was going to say, which track kind of changed the most, and which track was your favourite when it came out, and which track is your favourite now?
I would definitely say Poor People. Actually, no. Break Free was an entirely different song called Rebel. And that was probably the second song I wrote as MUDRAT. And it was very much so I was writing about like the idea of living in a dystopian world, and the idea of like what a punk artist would do in that world. And it was meant to be like the closer of the project, and I realized that through just living this experience that wasn't really authentic anymore, and we kind of like inverted it, and it became the opening sort of message, and then we were able to write the last song by inverting that again. I would say probably Break Free was one of the it was cool to play that at the start, and now I don't know. It's Mud 25 is always incredibly special, and I think the songs feel like they've been given new life because we played them in Australia so many times, and we had our like last show to send us off to come here. And there are these like setups that we do for everything, but because we've done it so many times with the home crowd, I was just like, let's just cut the bullshit. You guys know what this is. If we want to kill the billionaires, it's fuck rich cunts, and then. To come here now and kind of like begin that process again has been really interesting, and it feels all really fresh.
Yeah, obviously this is your first time over here, so what are the differences between the Australian crowds and these crowds, or are they similar?
Genuinely, like again, I was fully prepared to like we've done some shows where we play in front of like completely foreign crowds and that's like it's a whole different experience, and kind of really important to try and reach people that sort of aren't engaged in the way that we are politically. But coming here, that first show in Leeds, it just felt like a home show, and I'm really like filled with this sense of hope, which is funnily enough like not a feeling that I feel a lot, because I think part of the responsibilities as an artist is to kind of consider all the reasons why things aren't working. But coming here and meeting people and getting to chat to them after, and realizing that you're just exactly like this person that I know back home who is this like incredibly, all people that are sort of like committed their lives to trying to shift things, these like big romantic characters, and it's the same thing. It's the same version of that person here, and so I kind of realised that there's a real important role for artists who are kind of engaged in the way we are to kind of go around to these places and let them know that they're not isolated. Because I think when you live in a town like or city, you get caught up in all of the struggles that come with being in one place, but we get to go and see that the same things, that both the same triumphs and the same struggles are kind of happening everywhere. And I feel like that's something that's like actually quite important to let people know,
sure.
and people have been responding to that. It's sort of what we've been saying on stage.
Yeah, it must be crazy coming over here and having people like really connect with your music all the way, like so far away from home. I can't even imagine what that would feel like. It's
completely bizarre, and I say this all the time, but like I'm 32, and things started to move with this project after 6 years of a previous sort of I guess alias and different type of project that we were doing before. So to have it at this age and for it to feel so like fresh and like what the music industry tells you is only possible before you're 25. It's awesome because you just get to be completely grateful, because I just accepted that this wasn't going to happen in my life, and I was kind of okay with that. And now, it just defies belief. We're literally just pinching ourselves every day. It's been incredible.
So this is literally the start of something big. Like, this is the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, and I think that it's just really important that artists recognise, the role that they have to play in this world that we're living in. So I hope we can inspire and be inspired by others to do that.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, talking about the album again, when you were creating it, was there any kind of highlights or any favourite moments of creating the album?
Yeah, it was a completely bizarre process in the sense that we had, originally, because so much of this project was none of it was like to plan. It started off as a clip from a live show went viral when it was an idea that we might start it in like 6 to 9 months from there, but we've just kind of been following the energy and kind of reacting for a lot of it. So the song Mud, which is the first one, which we did a new version for on the album, it was half done at that point, and that was kind of the story for a year and a half, was like make the song and put it out. But we had like a bunch of half-finished ideas that we just ended up playing live. And what was the question again? Sorry.
Were there any highlights of the creative
Yeah,
process?
sorry, that's the whole point. So a lot of it was like the singles that did come out were basically made finished a month before they came out, but then there was maybe 4 of them. We had 6 other ideas, and because we were reacting the whole time, we got to like April last year, and we're like, I think we should do an album. And we had 2 months or like a month and a half to kind of like finish, I think like 6 songs and add the last one on as well. So that was shouldn't have been able to do it. It was like we were sleeping 3 hours a night for like 6 weeks straight, going to our jobs, coming back. Wrote a whole new song in that process. So many of the songs evolved in that recording process. So it all kind of happened at once outside of the singles that had been released. So I think it was at least 5 or 6 that just got done in the space that we normally make one.
You were locked in.
There was some magic to it. Yeah. We're trying not to do that all the time. But I think it was the whole album was about trying to time capsule the last 2 years since 2023 for both ourselves, but also I guess our community in Melbourne. And I think it made sense to finish it in such a, like in the moment kind of way. I think if it was something that we sat with naturally, you want to tinker and develop and change things, but it was kind of like whatever it was what it was released as in that process. So it was really, really special, and I think we did a pretty good job considering all of it.
So during that short time, were there any musical or non-musical inspirations that were inspiring the songs? Could be anything like films or other songs.
It's interesting in that regard. That definitely. So I think it's not quite like obvious, I think, to someone that maybe isn't like an engaged fan, but like whilst I am like the face of it, the musical collaboration and the playing is a band effort. And so given that like prior to this starting, I had like a casual interest in the type of music that we make, but it wasn't what I was into. I've come from a hip hop background, so a lot of the time the musical inspirations, like the band are all musical historians and geeks, and so they'll be bringing up references from any sort of era, and I'm listening to classic albums for the first time a lot of the time, but often I'll dictate a concept or a feeling, and then they'll start giving me some references, and then we kind of find it like that, and it's a nice sort of healthy balance. So we didn't know when we put the last song together and kind of then put it in a playlist, we had no idea if it would be a cohesive, pun intended, listen. And so I think there's something kind of cool to my lack of, I guess, like knowledge, and whilst I'm still trying to be respectful and take things in now, I think the kind of not knowingness allowed it to sort of sound like its own thing. But sure. definitely Kneecap and Bob Vylan, and I guess more for like the both the sonics, but also I guess the principles in which they approach their music and what they do with their platform. So very all over the place in terms of how it came together, but
it works.
Yeah,
it goes together.
I guess the quick answer is life and the world is the inspiration. It was all just what am I seeing?
What you were feeling right then.
Exactly.
I love that answer. Obviously, recently you just released a live album.
Yep.
I love a live album, especially if it's like a concert I've been to, because then you can like relive it.
Yeah.
So what made you want to release this? Because it's quite a long one as well. It's quite a few tracks.
Yeah. I think this entire thing that we're doing in this project, which I can rant on for hours because we're also still figuring it out, is we want to leave a blueprint of how we went about it, but we're also in the middle of it. So you're kind of aware of like, if this was told in a documentary, which stage of it we're at, and that sort of informs how the decisions that you want to make, because you want this to be studied as long as we stick to our principles. And so the whole thing in short is like, can you become a self-sustained musician and not be a dickhead, and actually kind of recognize that you can have an impact on your communities and serve a really important role that I think music at its core always has, but I think under our current sort of conditions, and particularly in the last like 15 years with just how little valued music becomes, and it's become such a distraction, it's all content, whatever it is. I think we have sort of a general principle of that, and a lot of the things that we do are just to kind of showcase that and timestamp stuff. And so that was our first ever sold out show at that time. So it was and the entire album is actually sort of about everyone that was in attendance that night. And so we just wanted to, like you said, capture that for them, but also showcase to the world that something's happening where we're from. And it probably looks similar to what's happening in yours, but people need to be able to see that in order to believe it. So
I love that. I feel like it would be good for the fans who were there to re-listen to it.
Absolutely.
That's my favourite part. So the last few questions is, what is your favourite show you've ever played? These are just little quick ones.
We talk about this all the time. It's literally the last one, for the last 6 months. So I mean, we just had the send-off show that we did at home was incredible. There was a lot of stress and life things just kind of going on in that week before, and it was like we weren't, at one point it didn't look like we were going to be able to do it, and we pulled through, and it was just the album had been out for at least I think 9 months at that point, and it felt different. Like it felt like people live with this. They feel like it's part of their lives now. So that was definitely cool. But I mean, fucking Leeds was great, Glasgow was great. It's just what we try and do is not make it. The show is kind of just always reacting to what's happening in the world, what's happening in front of us, how we're feeling on the day. So as long as we kind of stick by that, and it's an authentic kind of thing that as long as we do that, it sort of always feels like it was the last one. So hopefully it's Newcastle tonight.
I'm really hoping it is. I feel like you'll get a good crowd. Normally do. So I'm hoping
fingers crossed.
And the last one is, what is a small band you're loving at the moment, or artist that you'd recommend to other people?
I think who's doing some cool stuff at home. I mean, they're bigger than she's bigger than us, but maybe in terms of international awareness, we could always do more because we're from the arse ends of the world. But Miss Kanina, I'm not sure if you know about them. She's an Indigenous hip hop artist. She actually supported Kneecap here on their last run. Yeah. She is like excellence personified, and just really, really staunch, and like does so much for her community, but also just represents and is like, she's going to be a global star at some point. So if you haven't heard of Miss Kanina, check out Miss Kanina. Yeah, but she's bigger than us. So if Kanina, if you see this, I'm not saying you're small.
I love when I get an answer and I don't know the artist, because then I can listen
yeah,
to them.
yeah,
So
yeah.
now I'll be going to do that.
She's amazing, and Kneecap love her, and like the fact that she supported them down there, and then they took her on their European run, and absolutely.
I think
amazing.
Kneecap are playing in Newcastle tomorrow. Actually,
fucking
they just
hell,
announced it the other day, and I was like, oh, okay.
Serendipitous.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Great show tonight.
Cheers. Thank you.